Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the first meeting of my presidential year, July 10th. I am not Kevin Kassier. I'm Tim Lowitz, your president for this year. It's great to see all of you here, even during the height of summer vacation. We have about 65 or so of you here today, so a round of applause for that. We did not have a greeter signed up today or a moment of inspiration. We continue to need those volunteers, so if you want to or if you feel inclined, please sign up either out at the lobby desk or online, and I'll talk to you like I talk to my children and threaten them if you don't sign up. You're going to hear from me each week either, and I'm not very inspiring, and you'll probably get sick of greeting me, so please sign up and do that. We don't have Kitty this week. I'll get to an update here in a second, but so we don't have slides. But I'm going to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance with an actual flag in here today, and the four-way test, and then we'll get a chance to greet our fellow Rotarians. So please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Please greet your fellow Rotarians.
You good to go, Jordan?
You sitting downstairs, relaxing, enjoying the
Thanks again for hosting us.
Hi, I'm Jody. Nice to see you.
All right, let's take our seats. I can let you go all day. Very robust. Very excited about it. It's also very unfortunate sometimes some people get to know you being unfortunately about 5 minutes. It's a tight life. It's all right. Yeah. All right. Hope you all had a chance to say hi to some people that you haven't seen in a while. Hope you had a great 4th of July holiday. We were off last week in honor of that. So as I mentioned, the Kitty update, the good news, as some of you know, Kitty had to have a minor procedure on Thursday, July 3rd. But the good news is she's doing great. In typical Kitty fashion, she's emailed me about 15 times this week. But she will be back next week. The bad news is she's not here this week to keep me in check. So thanks to Susie and Colleen and Jordan, they've done a wonderful job in preparing the meeting for today. we have several guests, as I'm sure you realize when you were greeting others around the room. And so, as I call you your name guests, please stand and remain standing, and we'll greet you all at the very end. First, we have a number of guests here at the head table related to our speaker from Empower Tanzania, Jody Morgan Peters and Ann Battle. And then we also have Todd Byerly, who is the executive director from Empower Tanzania. And these are all guests of Doug Dorner. You have to stay standing. Follow instructions. Yeah, right. David Gross, who's a guest of immediate past president Kevin Kassir. Eddie Andrews from the Johnston Rotary Club, welcome, and a candidate for governor, a guest of Melissa Merrifield. Jessie Hewins, daughter-in-law of our own Kathleen Jones. And then we have a number of special guests from the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program over at Drake University. So if you could please stand, we appreciate you making the journey over here. Thank you. Welcome to all our guests, and then a special thank you to Lance Noe, former member, and Steve Beckley for bringing the fellowship attendees here. So thank you all.
You're part of it.
We have two Rotarian birthdays today. Eric Dickinson, is he here? Hey! Hey, Eric, happy birthday. We're not going to sing, don't worry. And Lynette Rasmussen, is Lynette here? No, Lynette's not here. Well, if you see Lynette, say happy birthday to her and happy birthday, Eric. All right, so as president, you have to make a lot of difficult decisions in the Rotary Club of Des Moines. The first one I had to make was to call up Skeet and Doug and tell them that they'd been relieved of their duties from Rotarian. It was a tough phone call, but we got through it. They're still members. But no, I do have
voicemail.
you didn't call me back, Skeet. Right. But what I am going to do, I do have a new segment. As a practicing attorney, while we do take our job seriously, we like to poke fun of ourselves, just like members of the public like to poke fun of attorneys. And so I'm going to have a new segment. I'm going to pull up a audio hint of what we're going to call the segment. I'm going to ask anyone if they know what we're going to do here. Hold on. Anyone know? Yeah, so we're going to have Rotary Law and Disorder every week. I'm not as creative as Kevin, but I'm trying. Rotary Law and Disorder, and the purpose of this segment will be just to bring a little humor to whether it's the legal system in general, lawsuits, slip up by lawyers, anything that I can find on the internet that I think is true, I'll try and vet it and make sure it's actually legitimate. So this week, in our version of Rotary Law and Disorder, I really thought this was an Onion article when I found it, but it's not. I've actually verified it. It was from several years ago, but at Dateline, the Netherlands. Anyone ever been to the Netherlands? All right. Well, did you run into Emil Ratelband when you were there? Okay. Emil Ratelband, a 69-year-old motivational speaker from the Netherlands, has petitioned, and this is from several years ago, but it's now been resolved, but has petitioned a court for permission to change his legal age by altering his birth certificate to show he was born 20 years later than he actually was. It gets better. He argued to the court that he feels 2 decades younger than he actually is, and his doctors tell him he has the body of a much younger man. He also says having a younger age on paper would give him a boost in life and on dating apps. So, he did make a concession to the court in his argument. He said he would be willing and happy to delay his pension benefits another 20 years as a logical extension of his age change. Probably not surprisingly, the judge expressed some skepticism to this argument, but did note there are certain situations, apparently in the Netherlands, where you can, it's not impossible to amend a birth certificate in certain situations. So, I think this was actually through NPR. NPR interviewed Mr. Ratelband, And he said, when I'm 69, I am limited. If I am 49, then I can buy a new house, drive a different car. I can take up more work. When I'm on Tinder and it says 69, I don't get an answer. When I'm 49, with the face I have, I will be in a luxurious position. Of course, Mr. Rattleband has a website as a motivational speaker, and it says he has 7 children and is in a steady relationship with the woman of his dreams. However, it does also state that he is also dating and is seeking to have more children with surrogate mothers. His interview continued, because nowadays in Europe and the United States, we are free people. We can make our own decisions. If we want to change our name, or if we want to change our gender, so I want to change my age. My feeling about my body and my mind is that I'm about 40 or 45. He wants to tell potential dating partners and clients that he is as young as he feels, not as old as he actually is, and then ended his interview with, but I don't want to lie to anybody. The judge denied his petition. So that is our Rotary Law and Disorder for today. And like I said, we'll have some fun. So now, Doug Dorner, International Service Committee member, will introduce our speaker and our program. Doug.
Thank you, Tim. Tim made me promise to get our speaker's name correct this time. My wife, my daughters, and I have had the pleasure for many years of being involved with an Iowa-based organization, an Iowa-initiated non-governmental organization called Empower Tanzania. Today we are honored to hear from that organization's health programs manager, Catherine Wallace. I'm going to let Catherine, rather than saying things about Catherine myself, I'm going to let her tell you more about herself and the really impactful work that she's doing with Empower Tanzania. It's a special pleasure for me to introduce Catherine, not only because of her role in the organization, but because she is a fellow Rotarian, a proud member of the Mount Shenjenja Rotary Club in Tanzania. Please welcome our guest Rotarian, Catherine Wallace.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Wallace, and I have been working with an organization called Empower Tanzania. It's really based in Tanzania. And I would like you to express my thanks to the International Service Committee to allow me to come away from Tanzania to come here to present it today. It is a special honor for me to stand in front of the oldest club of Rotary here in Iowa, although I am a member of a Rotary club, a newest chartered club in Tanzania, and we were chartered in 2023. We are only 9 members, but we hope to grow and accomplish achievements of those like your Rotary club. So the picture which you see here, it shows the mountain, and this is the Mount Shengena, which is located in Kilimanjaro region, Same district. And the landscape of this part of Tanzania is typical the same. I thought you may be interested to know how I came to present here in Iowa from a long way, from where I have grown, which is Tanzania. So in this map of Africa, just under the horn of Africa is where Tanzania located. And Tanzania has a population of around 70 million people. And most of people think that Tanzania is a small country. I mean, Africa is a small continent, but that is not true. As we see in this map here, Africa is a large continent, and it may fit all these countries, as you may see in this projection map. On this map of Tanzania, just on top of the map is Lake Victoria. And I was grown up near the Lake Victoria in one of the region called Mwanza. I like it to say is that because I grew up in Mwanza, where we eat a lot of fish and insects which are rich in protein, I grew up to be big, strong, and tall more than other people. So in this picture are the type of food which are rich in protein that we eat in Tanzania, especially in Mwanza from Lake Victoria. And this picture here shows the insect that we eat in Mwanza. Well, they are insects but taste like chicken. Unfortunately, when I was 12 years old, I lost my mom, and 2 years later, I lost my dad. And during that time, our great uncle took everything from us, and we were sent to live with distant relatives. And it is during this time I realized that it is more important to focus on my education. So I focused and worked really hard in my studies, and I was able to be admitted in one of the biggest universities in Tanzania called Sokoine University of Agriculture, and I was able to receive a bachelor degree in rural development. And later on, I received a diploma in rural development in planning, and now I'm pursuing my master's degree in monitoring and evaluation. So after finishing my school or my college, I worked with a few non-organization in Tanzania, but for the past 8 years, I have been working with Empower Tanzania, managing their healthy programs. And here is Empower Tanzania. Actually, Empower Tanzania was founded in 2008, and it was started here in central Iowa. And later on, a year after, it was registered in Tanzania. Since then, we have been working in collaboration with volunteers who are Rotarian, and I'd like to thank Doug Donner and his wife Karoli, because we have been working with them in different water projects back in Same. And this picture here shows an example of the water project that Empower Tanzania has implemented jointly with the Rotary Club of Same back in Same district. And this is another picture of the water project that Empower Tanzania has implemented in collaboration with the Rotary Club of Same back in Tanzania. And as you see, there is a water storage tank and also panel of solar. So as I said, Empower Tanzania was registered in 2008, and primarily we were working in Kilimanjaro region. It has a governing board of 13 people, and 5 of them are from Tanzania, and we have 6 full-time employees back in Tanzania. So Empower Tanzania, as I mentioned, it works in collaboration with the rural, or in partnership with the rural community in Tanzania, and it works in order to improve their quality of life. And we have different areas that we work in order to improve the quality of life of people in Tanzania, and those areas include water supply and safety, education, agriculture, and healthcare. So Tanzania has a total of 31 regions, and they may be the same as the states here, in most of the states here in the United States. And as I mentioned, originally Empower Tanzania used it to work in the Kilimanjaro region, but in 2024 we received an expansion to do our work in other regions back in Tanzania. So now we have two regions that we work with. That is Kilimanjaro region and Manyara region. On this picture, you'll see Manyara region and Kilimanjaro region are just near from each other. And these two regions have a population of total 3 million people, maybe the same as our population. So why Empower Tanzania chose to work with? Why Empower Tanzania chose to work with the Tanzania population? Because there is some challenges back in Tanzania. For example, 50% of people live on less than $2 per day, but also 32% of the population is malnourished. And the 30 children have growth stunning, but also there are lots of problems in health problems and diseases that are communicable and non-communicable diseases. As you may see in this list, there is HIV, also malaria, cholera, and other diseases. But also there is lack of access to water and poor water supply. These are the challenges, but also there is opportunity to work with the Tanzania. And because Tanzania have a fairly stable, democratically elected government, but also over 5% GDP growth, it has low unemployment and improving health, education, and living standard. So as I mentioned before, Empower Tanzania has a few areas of focus, and we work on worship program and projects, and this is the area where Empower Tanzania worked in collaboration with the Rotary Club of Same. But also we have a program that deals with childhood education, agriculture, and health. So in Tanzania, there is poor health care system, and that's why Empower Tanzania focus more now on healthy programs. And there are few healthcare providers, but also poor funding and inadequate supplies, and many preventable infections, as I mentioned before, such as HIV, malaria, cholera, and TB. So on this picture is an example of wards back in Tanzania. And this picture is an example of a laboratory in hospital or healthcare in Tanzania. This picture shows a maternity ward, and as we can see, there is 2 women in 1 bed, and that means if they have their children, there will be 4 people in 1 bed. So as I said before, Empower Tanzania focuses on community education to prevent illness and reduce its burden on the healthcare system, because we all know prevention is better than cure. So I'd like you to talk a little bit more about our new program, which we have been implementing in the new region, Manyara region, Babati town. And this program is called the Improving Community Healthy Program. And this is the example picture of the area back in Manyara and Babati town. So the Improving Community Healthy Program provided preventable health education on 8 general topics to 1 member of all 33,600 households in Babati town. Those household representatives will then educate the other household members using their knowledge and the course booklet. And then we have been conducting research in order to get outcome to promote government adaptation and scale up. This program is being implemented majorly using community health workers. We have 35 community health workers, and the plan is for each health worker to meet at least 1,000 household representatives in a year. And these are the topics that the Empower Tanzania Improving Community Health Program covers, and they have been introduced to the community by the community health workers. It all starts from WASH projects, WASH topics, up to vaccination, as we all see here in the list. So how these community health workers provide education to the household members? Empower Tanzania provided equipment such as projection kit that they use it to provide education to the household members. This projection kit has a PowerPoint on the 8 topics that the community health workers use it to provide education in the community, but also there is videos related to these topics, and they use discussion, demonstration, and also booklet, which contains all these 8 topics. So each of the household representative attend 80 4-hour training session. In total is about 32 contact hours. And when they finish all these 8 modules, they receive a certificate of completing the modules. And this picture is an example of a community member receiving a certificate after finishing or completing all the 8 modules of the training. So as I mentioned before, each household representative in Babati town, they are provided with a booklet which have all these topics in order to help them to provide a quality education to their fellow members back in their household. This picture is a cover of the printed booklet, and it shows a typical community in Babati. Like, it has different people, from older people, people with albinism, and children. And this picture is an example of the content inside the booklet that each of the household representatives receive. So these community health workers, who are the implementers of the program, received a training from Empower Tanzania, and this training was 6 days training, and it was back last year in August. And the training were presented, all the community health workers received the training from the government officials on different areas or departments according to the topics. Also, this picture shows one of the government officials who provided education to the community health workers. As I mentioned before, Empower Tanzania provided the community health workers with projection kits which have all the content of the program, and this picture shows an example of the community health workers learning on how to use this equipment. So as I said before, in a year, the target of the program is for the community health workers to reach all households in Babati town, which have a total of 33,600 household members, but also a population of 130 people. So far, these community health workers has reached over 22,000 people, all household representatives, but also over 99% of all household representatives attended to this training session, and also over 80% have completed all 80 modules on the program. And after completing all these 80 modules, each representative receives a certificate. This is an example picture of the community health worker. This is an example picture of a community health worker providing education to the household representative. And this picture shows the printed booklet that each household representative received after to help them provide the same education to their family members. Also, Empower Tanzania works in collaboration with the National Institute of Medical Research to do research on the program, and this research will help us to know our targets and what changes the program has made during the implementation. And this survey will touch at least 1,000 people in 100, and they have conducted a pre-survey before the household training, and then after completing the 8 weeks of the program implementation, they will redo the survey. Then the survey will be done 6 months after the implementation of the program, and then 12 months after the implementation of the program. Also, we collected data from the healthcare department in Babati town in order to know improvement in underage pregnancy, in maternal and infant mortality, HPV vaccination, and other measures. In the closing day of the community health workers training, we had a guest of honors and 2 members of the Tanzania Presidential Cabinet, and other guests of honors were from the regional level and district level. The 2 people there are the members of ministry from Tanzania that attended our training during the closing day of the training. So during this training, one of the President Cabinet Minister said, "I have never seen a program as comprehensive and integrative of the government as this one." And then he repeated the same sentence when they visited in Babati town for follow-up of the program implementation and to see how the program has been doing so far. Thank you for listening, and I would like you to welcome question if anyone has a question.
How is our government's abolition of USAID going to affect potentially your program? And is there any effect with that? Those funds being withheld or eliminated?
Thank you. So the question is how the abolition of USD will affect our program. This will affect our program, but not directly, because Empower Tanzania has have private donors or people who donate in order to implement this program. So it may affect it, but not direct effects.
Thank you.
Besides Empower Tanzania, I'm understanding that there's a children's hospital being built in Tanzania, and it's using USAID money. What is the future of that hospital?
The question is, you understand that there is a hospital is building back in Tanzania. Maybe I'd like you to know the region or a place at which part of Tanzania this hospital is being building. Are you aware of the region or district where?
I'm not. I've just heard that there is one from
Okay.
some.
Is it in Dodoma? Okay. So for my understanding, like government of Tanzania works in collaboration with the USD in most of the health activities or projects. So if this hospital is building using USD funds, this may affect it because of the abolition of the funds from USD. But if it is been building for only the government of Tanzania money, it will not be affected.
Wonderful presentation. Catherine, I wanted to know what you attribute the really high participation rates to with community members and with people going through the courses to get a certificate.
Okay. During this implementation of the program, for example, we first started by the community health workers, like knowing or like they went through the community to know all the households, and then they took an attendance for all households, and then after that, when they go to the community to provide the education, we have this attendance form for each module, and it shows us like how many people came to the meeting, and we have follow-up visit to the community in order to know if all people attend, and those attendants help us to know if people have completed all 80 modules, and then after that they receive a certificate. Welcome.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this presentation. This is amazing. And you may have already touched on this with the other questions, but do you see any expansion into other states? Just curious how you see the program growth.
Okay. Thank you. The expansion of the program depends with the availability of funds. We are planning to expand as much as we can in other regions in Tanzania, but this may depend with the availability of funds that we receive from our donors. Thank you.
Do you have specific examples of lives that have been changed because of the program?
Well, so far the program has not been completed, but as I have said, the community health workers have reached the 22,000 household representative, and it changed from small measures. For example, the first topic is WASH, and this topic talks more about a clean and safe water. Back in Tanzania, not all waters are treated by the government. There are some water sources which are not treated, and most of the people use water without being treated. So there are changes. For example, now people started to know like different ways to treat and use safe water. So there is this hand washing, which is part of the WASH topics, and it's not common to have different hand washing stations back in Tanzania, but when they receive this program, they know how to make those hand washing stations, and they have practicing in using them. Yeah.
Catherine, I'm so glad to know that you're a member of Rotary. You present well, and the topic is wonderful. I'm just kind of curious, you know, we as an international organization have been working hard to end polio. And I'm wondering to what extent your organization assists in that, or even do they assist with that? And maybe you could comment on how Tanzania is addressing polio vaccinations.
Thank you. So as I said, our health program mostly are focusing in public health. We do provide education to the community, and how this maybe I should mention how these topics have been generated. We gathered information from the health department based on the top 10 diseases in the community that we work. So after knowing the top 10 diseases, that's when we were able to create all this topic and then videos for the program. But I know that the government uses a different campaign to promote the rate of vaccination in Tanzania, and also the government works with the community health workers, the one that we use in the program, to promote a different campaign within the country.
All right.
Excellent.
But I think you were asking, like, why are Tanzanians so enthusiastic to attend the trainings, and what's the incentive for them why do they attend? Why are they so excited about this program?
Well, for our program has been successful because we have equipment, and this is kind of a unique way of providing education to the community. We do have this Pico projectors, which has videos and PowerPoint. So people love to attend them because they see a different thing. They use it for presentation to be provided, maybe using these flip charts and those kind of modules, but because of this modern way that we use, it helps them to come because they'll see a video and then they'll discuss. So it's the Pico projector that helps people to attend our training.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for your informative presentation on Empower Tanzania and for the important work you do. Obviously, we appreciate you being here and sharing that with us. It's quite a long journey from Tanzania, but you're welcome back whenever you want. Say hello to all your fellow Rotarians out in Tanzania. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have the typical slides today because again we're dealing with Kitty remotely today. But we do have some upcoming events I want to highlight real briefly. Tomorrow, is Harvey here? Harvey? Hey, Harvey. Harvey Fries has done a wonderful job with our golf fellowship, putting an event together for tomorrow, Blank Golf Course, 12:30. Are there any spots left, Harvey?
Yes, there are.
All right. So if you want to get out there tomorrow with several of us that'll be out there, please join us at Blank at 12:30. Harvey has promised me he's going to control the weather for us, right? 4 hours and 15 minutes of dry time, that's all we need. Another upcoming event, I am going to continue, Kevin did a great job with obviously the fuel program last year. For those of you that attended, it's been, I think, a wonderful way to get together outside of our Thursday lunches. So the first fuel for this year will be August 12th at 9 a.m. at Freedom Blend Coffee. If you want to write that on your calendar, we'll have reminders as we get closer. But our own Dave Dusick will be the highlighted speaker, and we're going to talk all about the news at that fuel. So, upcoming meetings. Remember, we are, as Kevin talked to us about last year, bringing guests and turning them into members and highlighting our club is the best way we can grow our club and show people what the great things we're doing here. So remember, you and any guests that you want to bring, please RSVP to Kitty by Wednesday at 9 a.m. and think about guests that might be interested in one of the upcoming speakers. So again, we'll send reminders, but next week, July 17th, will be our own Greg Edwards and Trina Flack from Catch Des Moines. And Greg and Trina will be highlighting, probably with a little bit of comedy from Greg, what all that they've accomplished over Greg's tenure, and then what Trina's going to focus on for Catch Des Moines. July 24th, we will have Judd O'Connor, the Executive Vice President of the seed business from Corteva. So anyone in the agricultural field that you know that would be interested in hearing Judd talk, please invite them. And then July 31st, Jeff Chelsevig will be back, as he's talked to us before, but he'll be back for, as he's calling it, his final curtain call as he's leaving the Des Moines Performing Arts. So he'll be giving a presentation on the 31st. So again, look at your I guess no one uses Rolodexes anymore, you use your phone, but look at your phone and figure out who you have that you might invite to one of those meetings. Thank you for being with us today. Again, great turnout for the summer. Thank you for being part of the vital part of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. And thank you to all our guests. We enjoyed having you today. And until next week, stay true to the good. We are adjourned.